No DQ Galaxy. We are live with the NoDQ.com recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. You know what that means. It's time to talk about AEW. We have the Forbidden Door pay-per-view this coming Sunday from Chicago United Center. Let's talk about Dynamite and the final build-up on this go-home edition of Dynamite leading up to the pay-per-view. We also have Blood and Guts coming up next Wednesday night in Detroit, Michigan. Not too far from me. All right, so Dynamite kicked off with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. He's been out of action since the pay-per-view, the Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing. He talked about Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts. He said that he was expecting to be part of both events. He said that Chris Jericho was paying Zack Sabre Jr. to beat him at Forbidden Door prior to Blood and Guts. Danielson said he was looking forward to facing Sabre Jr. and then going on to Blood and Guts to get revenge on Jericho. However, there is good news and bad news. The bad news, which is what we were fearing, Bryan Danielson is not cleared to compete at either Forbidden Door or Blood and Guts. However, he said he does have good news. He has picked a replacement to fight Sabre Jr. at the pay-per-view and then go on to the Blood and Guts match. Now, later on in the show, Excalibur said that this person will be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Bryan did not name the person. Bryan joked that he's still a heel. He came out through the heel tunnel, and he is not going to reveal the person. That person will not be known until the pay-per-view. Everyone is pretty much expecting Cesaro at this point. I did a poll on the NoDQ.com Twitter. The majority of people are voting for Cesaro. Some people voting for Johnny Gargano. Some people think it might be somebody else. My gut feeling is that it will be Cesaro. Cesaro in the Blackpool Combat Club. And to me, he would be the most satisfying replacement. I hope AEW has a good choice here. I think Cesaro would satisfy people. Gargano, I think people would be pretty happy about. Anybody else, I'm not so sure about. I've seen a few other names thrown out there, and I think that those names would be disappointments. I feel like it has to be Cesaro at this point in order to live up to expectations, and you're hyping this up for the pay-per-view. Wheeler Yuta, I think, is in a match, or maybe not, but him being the opponent, I think, would be disappointing. It has to be somebody like Cesaro or Johnny Gargano. Cesaro, I think, is the best choice. We'll see what happens. Crowd was not happy about this, by the way. They were hoping to get the name announced, and Bryan healed on them and kind of fell flat there at the end. We had Jon Moxley backstage cutting a promo, hyping up both Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts, said that Forbidden Door could end up being the biggest match of his entire life. He said, once the bell rings, it's personal. And Tanahashi needs to take notice because Moxley has no respect for anybody once that match gets going. Yeah, and Jose, thank you for that. Wheeler Yuta is in the trios match against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. I thought he was. I just don't have the full match card right in front of me, but I believed that he was already in a match for the pay-per-view. So, yeah, it's probably Cesaro, but I would not be shocked if it was Gargano. If it's anybody else, like, better be a damn big name. Otherwise, people are going to be disappointed. We had our first match of the evening. We had Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice going up against Will Ospreay's United Empire faction. Orange Cassidy did the hands in the pockets, and I think this is his first match since coming back. He did return the other week, but I think this was his first time back in action. The Empire got the upper hand for a while, hitting 3 power bombs to everybody on the apron. And then Orange Cassidy eventually got the hot tag, started doing his super kicks. And then he got more serious. He did a double Hurricane Rana to Aussie Open. And he invited Will Ospreay into the ring. And actually, didn't Ospreay win a match last week? So I think he's 1-2. I'm not even sure at this point, but I thought he won a match on Rampage. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, to be fair, like, not a lot of people are talking about Rampage these days. Anyways, Ospreay got into the ring, but then he got taken to the outside by Roppongi Vice, and they hit stereo dives to the outside. Things were breaking down. Will Ospreay went for a dive, but Orange Cassidy just casually moved out of the way. Will Ospreay landed on his feet, but then Orange Cassidy got back in the ring and hit the orange punch on one of the Aussie Open guys, got the win. And then afterwards, Jeff Cobb and Great OCon, not the Great Khali, not Tony Khan, the Great OCon. They're the IWGP Tag Team Champions. They came down afterwards, and it was a 5-on-3 situation, but then FTR showed up, got a big pop from the crowd to even the odds. So this was a fine match. No real complaints here to build up Forbidden Door. Totally acceptable. We had a little backstage promo from Jay Lethal and his crew. Jay Lethal basically wants to know what the hell's up with Samoa Joe. Is he going to come back and actually defend his championship? If not, Lethal said Joe needs to vacate it so it can go back to its rightful owner, of course, him, Jay Lethal. We then had Tony Schiavone bringing Christian Cage to the ring for a promo. Christian Cage, I know he's been around a lot longer than MJF, but am I the only one that thought that this was Christian Cage trying to do an MJF style promo? He talked about how Milwaukee needs to shut up and said he's pissed off about Jungle Boy eliminating him from the Casino Battle Royal last year. And it got him mad that people were cheering that. He lost money because he got eliminated so quickly. The crowd was chanting, "Shut the F up" at him. And then they cut to like an 8-year-old fan chanting, "Shut the F up" at Christian. Christian said he had to recoup his lost money. So he decided to hitch onto the Jurassic Express train and collect that big fat paycheck. That's the only reason he's in AEW. And he had some advice for the wrestlers in the back. Have a match that people will remember longer than a week. A match that will lead to a pay-per-view being named after that match. Of course, a reference to TLC. And then footage was shown from last week when Christian was trash talking Jungle Boy's mom, said that she raised a piece of shit. And then Christian said that she actually wanted him, Christian, to be Jungle Boy's father. But the fact is, Jungle Boy has a father. However, he's dead. Yes. Christian actually brought up Luke Perry being dead. Like I said, MJF 2.0 right here with Christian Cage. He was going all out, so to speak, with this promo. He was going hard, not concerning himself with offending people. And he said the Jungle Boy needs to enjoy the early retirement. But then we had Luchasaurus show up, and Luchasaurus was grabbing at Christian. Christian said they need to talk, and then said, remember what happened to Marco? Marco's stunt. He got, not fired, but no contract renewal. And Christian said Luchasaurus is like a son to him. And at this point, Luchasaurus let go. And Christian said they need to talk in private, not in front of the fans. And then they left the ring together. So I guess the plot thickens here. Which side is Luchasaurus on? Maybe he was just mesmerized with the idea that Christian Cage is older than him. We know how old Luchasaurus is. He's like 60 million years old or whatever. And for Christian to be like a father to him, he's got to be pretty damn old. Dr. Scorpio sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Christian as a heel is great. I enjoy it. Oh, yeah, he always cuts really good heel promos. I think he's better as a heel than a face, but I was just listening to this and not think of like MJF doing this promo, but better. And props to MJF. Like the fact that I think he could cut a better promo as a heel than Christian. I mean, that goes to show that MJF is really good with his delivery. Christian is too, but MJF has kind of made it his shtick to do the really offensive heel promo. And it feels like Christian was out there trying to copy what MJF has been doing over the past few years. Moving on here, we had the Young Bucks backstage, and they were bragging about being the tag team champions and said all is right in the world, and they're going to super kick the Forbidden Door down. I guess we're going to have an 8-man tag team match. The Bucks are going to be part of the Bullet Club. They're going to team up with Hikuleo and Phantasmo. I have no idea who those guys are. I presume they're in the Bullet Club. Don't they have like 30 guys in the Bullet Club, though? I don't even know at this point. And then later on in the show, Sting and Darby Allen revealed that their partners will be Shingo and Himaru Takahashi. I don't know who those guys are either, but I presume it'll be an entertaining match. It's going to be an 8-man tag match, the Bullet Club versus the Dudes with Attitudes. So yeah, that should be a fun match. I expect it to be entertaining. And then we had our All-Atlantic Championship contender match to see who gets the final spot in the 4-way at the pay-per-view. We had Malachi Black versus Penta. And this was a pretty solid back-and-forth match here. I was having trouble getting into it just because, to me, it was very obvious that Black was winning this. The whole deal with New Japan and CMLL, the exclusive deal, and AAA guys cannot be part of Forbidden Door. Andrade complained about that. So yeah, that pretty much gave away the outcome of this match. It was still good, though. You had Pentagon trying to hit the Fear Factor on the apron, the pile driver, but he was unsuccessful. And then they got back in the ring. Black hit this double foot stomp, but Penta kicked out. Penta hit an avalanche Fear Factor in the ring. However, he could not make the cover, by the way. And by the time he managed to make the cover, Black was able to get a foot on the rope. Black recovered from that, hit the Black Mass, and picked up the 1-2-3 victory. Afterwards, Pac arrived, and then Miro appeared on the big screen and cut a promo talking about how he's going to redeem everybody on Sunday and he'll be the first champion. Excalibur was talking, and then he got cut off for a commercial break. And I noticed this a couple of times on this show where Excalibur was talking and they would cut to the commercial before he could finish his sentence. Little production hiccups right there. Hopefully they fix that next week. Stop cutting off Excalibur. We had a little video package from Wardlow. He said that the only thing that he wants is the TNT title. I guess doesn't want the world title now. And he talked about Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky is another guy that is on the injured list. And Wardlow said once Sky is ready to come back, he can enter Wardlow's world. We then had Adam Cole on commentary as we had Silas Young, another guy I'm not familiar with. I guess he's from Ring of Honor, versus Hangman Adam Page. Basically a showcase match for Paige. I mean, I don't think that the Ring of Honor guy has any chance in hell against Paige here. Apparently they had a rivalry, but I know nothing about it. Paige hit the buckshot lariat, got the win. Pretty standard match here. Not much offense for Young, actually. So like I said, essentially a showcase match for Paige. And then afterwards, we had Adam Cole about to have some story time, but then he got cut off by Jay White, the IWGP champion. And he thought about his opponent for Forbidden Door, said it's not going to be Adam Cole because Cole lost to Paige twice. White went into the ring and said it will also not be Paige. Paige slapped the mic away from him, and they started fighting. Cole then hit a low blow to Paige as Paige was going for the buckshot lariat on White, and it was a 2-on-1 situation. Cole was teasing like he was going to attack White, but he did not. And then all of a sudden, we had Kazuchika Okada show up. Yes, the former IWGP champion, making his first appearance in AEW. So, people were very happy to see him. There was, talk that he wasn't going to be part of Forbidden Door, and people were disappointed about that. But he is, in fact, part of the pay-per-view now. He showed up, made the save for Paige. And then later on, it was announced that there will be a fatal four-way match, or a four-way match. I'm not sure if WWE has that term trademarked, fatal four-way dance, whatever. So Okada, Adam Cole, and Adam Page will all challenge Jay White for the IWGP championship. And I'm torn on this one because initially I was thinking, well, Jay White will retain if it's a triple threat. But now that Okada's in the mix, would not shock me if he wins back the title at Forbidden Door. I would expect either Jay White or Okada winning this one. But yeah, I'm not really sure who I'm going to go with as far as my prediction. Jose thinks that Okada might win it back, would not be surprised. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. Dr. NXT Scorpio, although he's not NXT anymore, says Jay White retaining. He thinks Jay White will retain. And Dr. Scorpio sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Christian as a heel is great. I enjoy it. As do I. Christian always delivers on the mic. And like I said earlier, I do think he's a better heel than a face. And he needed this in AEW because he was just there in the background. And, he gets a chance to take the spotlight now. And with MJF gone, Christian can go out there and be the controversial heel. So backstage, we had Red Velvet. It was announced that Red Velvet has been injured, another injury, and now they're looking for a new baddie for Jade Cargill's faction. We had another promo with Athena and Chris Statlander, and they were basically mocking Jade Cargill. Next up, we had at the 9:20 to 9:30 time slot, you guessed it, the women's match of the evening. Toni Storm going up against Marina Shafir. Nyla Rose was at ringside. Very basic match here. Toni Storm got the win, building up some momentum for the pay-per-view. And Nyla Rose jumped her afterwards. Thunder Rosa ended up making the save. Toni Storm took the women's title and hit Nyla Rose with it. And then there was a little face-off between Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa, and Toni gave her the title back because it's not hers, at least not yet. I mean, whatever. I'm kind of getting tired of the women's match being in the same time slot every week. And, it'll be a good match at the pay-per-view, but yeah, it'd be nice if they could be at the beginning of the show or first hour, or just change it up a little bit. But I say this every week, pretty much. Every once in a while, they get the main event spot, though, just not that often. And then we had our main event. And Jose, I agree with you. I'm torn on that one, too. I think I went with Thunder Rosa to retain, but would not surprise me if Toni Storm won it. So we had our main event of the evening, Chris Jericho and Lance Archer against Jon Moxley and Tanahashi. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti were there at ringside. William Regal was on commentary. They started brawling right away. Eventually, things settled down. Jericho and Tanahashi went at it for a while, and then Jericho hit the code breaker, but Moxley broke up the pin. Moxley tagged in. Archer tagged in. They traded blows. Moxley hit the paradigm shift to Archer and then tagged in Tanahashi, who hit the frog splash. He got the 1-2-3 victory. Match was pretty solid. And then afterwards, we had things going crazy. Eddie Kingston ran down, attacked Jericho. Wheeler Yuta came down. You had Suzuki coming down. The rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Just a huge brawl. And meanwhile, everyone was fighting outside. In the ring, you had Jon Moxley and Tanahashi just staring each other down. And they were staring each other down for like 3 minutes as everybody was brawling on the outside. And Tanahashi was making these goofy faces at Jon Moxley. It was a little weird to me, but, they were trying to build 2 matches in one segment, so I get it. But I feel like the Moxley and Tanahashi thing was just silly with them standing in there for 3 or 4 minutes. And the camera wasn't even really focusing on them. It was on the brawl going on. So overall, Dynamite was pretty good. Not great, in my opinion, though. Like, not a home run. But overall, I did think it was a pretty decent go-home show heading into the pay-per-view on Sunday. Okada was a nice surprise. I think the pay-per-view definitely needed him, especially with Bryan Danielson out of commission, and we'll see who they have. I'm sure the pay-per-view is going to be great. They got a loaded lineup for the show. So overall, I think it was a fairly good show. I'm going to give it a B- this week. Could have been better, but still, I thought it was solid build-up for the pay-per-view. And Forbidden Door this Sunday. I'll be doing the usual live results coverage over on NoDQ.com. And then next week we got Forbidden Door. No, not Forbidden Door. Blood and Guts next week in Detroit. That'll be a fun one. And best wishes to Bryan Danielson. Hopefully he's back sooner than later. It was concerning when it was announced that he could not travel to an event. That's what sent off some alarm bells, and we still don't know exactly what's going on with him. But the fact that he was unable to travel makes you think it's something more serious than just, a knee injury or an arm injury or something like that. So hopefully he'll be okay and he'll be back soon. And that's it for tonight. We'll be back with the No DQ review coming up this week. And we got SmackDown on Friday. And then, of course, we got the pay-per-view on Sunday. Leave a comment on YouTube. Let me know who you think is going to be that mystery opponent for Zack Sabre Jr. Let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Take care, everybody. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. See you all next time.